Hi, welcome to Joanna's DIY Life. On this channel, I like to do a little bit of everything. But today, it's Sew It Saturday. But I will say it's not typical. It's a sew it, glue it, however you could do it Saturday. So let's go. Okay, so I've got this felt that I bought at Walmart. I got the bright, and then I got the neutral. And one was 3 something and one was 4 something. So yeah. So they have a lot in there. I had some extra at home, which proved to be good because I needed it, because I just am a little extra, okay? And I did a lot of stuff, okay? Just saying. I got patterns that I made from looking at pictures, and I'll try to get them in a PDF format as soon as I can and get them on for you if you want them. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this neutral, I don't know, it's kind of a cream color, and I'm going to make my Pop-Tarts. I must say, these impressed me so much. I loved them. So I'm just going to cut where my pattern was with my rotary cutter and my ruler. These don't have to be a perfect science. It's just play food, okay? So then I'm going to measure how long they need to be, and I'm just going to cut that. And why I cut that like that, I have no idea. I was like, what the crap are you doing? It's easier just to lay your template down and then cut like this. I don't know what I was thinking when I cut that end of the Pop-Tart off. But anyway, there are my 4 Pop-Tarts, and that's the base. And then I'm just going to take that little one, or I don't know, maybe I'm cutting another one. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, I took the little one. And I'm going to make a Pop-Tart top now. Okay, so I'm going to have a little template to set down. See, I'm measuring it up right there to make the top. All you got to do is just get a piece of felt and cut it down just a little bit smaller. And I'm going to use white on these 4. I made 4 other ones, and I'll show you those a little bit later, but I'm doing the same thing, just measuring out my little tops, and then, you know, I'm going to cut those out. Okay, so I got my box of floss where I used to do hand embroidery, and I matched up the colors best I could with what I had. And I'm just going to unwind a piece, and I'm going to split it into 3s. There's 6 strings, and I'm just splitting this into 3 each, okay? Now, I had the idea of what I saw from these things. They had these cute little blanket stitches, okay? And so I'm going to tack this down so it don't move. This is fabric glue. You could use regular glue or stick glue or whatever. Now I'm just going to do this to all of them, and then I'm going to start my stitches. Sorry, I'm laughing. You don't know me, okay? Some of you might. One of you I know does pretty well. But anyway, I'm just going to glue these tops on, y'all. So this is why I was laughing. If you know me, you know me, okay? If you don't, I'm finna tell you. So I saw this thing on Pinterest where I got these patterns at, and I thought that I could use this to help me get my stitches even. Y'all, I hate hand sewing, okay? This was not for me. I'm looking at this thing, made it worse. I don't know. Maybe it could help some of y'all, but I was like, this thing is crazy. It just got on my nerves. So I eventually moved to my sewing machine because this is not cutting it. Okay, so here they are stitched on the machine. I'll show you how to do that later. And I love wild berry Pop-Tarts. So that's what I'm going to do with the blue puffy paint. But since I stitched them, they look tacky. That's what the front looks like, and the back is just awful. So I cut other pieces, and I'm just going to glue it to the back. Sewing some of this stuff is too tedious, whatever that world you want to call it. So I'm gluing it, okay? I'm doing it the best way I can. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to glue all these bottoms on these little Pop-Tart things. Okay, so for the machine, you want that stitch right there. And it's usually a stretch stitch. And you'll have to just play with your machine to adjust it. But all I'm going to do is go around the edge and just catch the edge of my Pop-Tarts to give it a decorative touch to make it look like, you know, the crust of the Pop-Tart. And plus it's just cute. So I'm going to do this all the way around every one of these Pop-Tarts. This is what that stitch looks like. Now I am just going to take my puff paint and I'm going to draw my design on it and make them look like wild berry Pop-Tarts. I stuck my finger in one of them. You'll see I smeared it and I'm like, shoot. But it dried and it looked fine, so I'm okay with it. It's just for kids' toys anyway. So then on the other ones, when I get done playing with these, I'm just going to take different colored their fabric markers and just put little dots or slashes or whatever you want to call it on them to kind of make them look like they have sprinkles. Okay, now I have the tan felt, and I have this, and I'm going to make a waffle, but y'all, Lord have mercy, I did not put that many stitches in this felt, okay? I made it look more like a tic-tac-toe board, but anyways, all I'm going to do is cut out, I'm going to use 2 pieces per waffle, okay? So I'm just going to cut my squares out to make my waffles. When I get my squares cut out, I'm going to sandwich 2 together, and I'm going to make my diagonal lines, and then I'm going to go around the edge. You'll see in just a second. Alright, now they're done. You can see it's like a tic-tac-toe pattern, and then you don't have to do the stitch around the edge. You can just use a straight stitch and do it that way. And then I'm just going to take the brown marker and kind of make them look like they were, you know, a little bit toasty and more 3D, dimensional, whatever you want to call it. And those are my waffles. Now, everybody knows waffles need butter. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to draw squares on it. And I'll just tell you right now, I did not use those squares, okay? I actually made a square that was actually a square, not this wonky junk. And then I used that square to trace around and then stitched around that, okay? And I will show you that in just a second, like right here. And I know that was kind of hard to see, but I'm going to take these pinking shears is what they're called, and you need a good pair. These are Fiskars, and I've had them for years, and they're the best ever. And I'm just going to cut around these, but I end up changing them because my daughter FaceTimed me, my oldest daughter, and she said, Mama, those look like ravioli. So, you know, if you want to make ravioli, this is how you do it, okay? But we don't want ravioli, we want butter, so I'm going to fix them eventually. But anyway, there's my little squares that I did so fancy that I had to change. Now, you also want syrup, okay? So I have this little cutout, and ketchup, mustard, jelly, and syrup. Same stinking thing. It works for everything. So I'm just going to put it on here, and then I'm going to cut it out, and that's going to be my syrups. And I do want to mention that I am tracing these on with a Frixion pen, and these go away with heat. So it's not going to be on there. And here are my buttered and syruped waffles, and I'm getting them out of the way because we're going to be making pancakes. So I'm going to take the same felt, and I'm going to make my pancakes. And believe me when I tell you, you do not want to cut this many layers of felt at one time because they're not even when you get done. So I did switch to my good scissors, and that helped a lot, but I still had to get some rough edges off. So cutting 2 at a time is fine, but 3 is not so okay. But anyways, I'm just going to cut as many pancake pieces as I need. Okay, as you can see, I went over to the machine and I just stitched around them with my needle all the way to the right and my pancake on the edge. Then I'm going to flip them all. Then I'm going to take my tool and I'm going to push them out and make them rounded. This tool is excellent for this, you guys, and a lot of other things. So, it's in my Amazon store if you're interested. I guarantee you if you get one, you're going to love it. But I'm just going to make sure all these are flat, and you want to stuff them just a little because you want fluffy pancakes. Now, you don't have to stuff them, but I did because, like I said, I want fluffy pancakes. So I'm just going to put a little bit of batting in there, not a lot, and you don't want to pack it. You want it little at a time and fluffy. And then we're going to tuck this in, and you can hand stitch it if you want to, but I'm going to take my glue gun and glue them shut. Now I have all my little pancakes with my syrups and my butter, and I did take a marker and mark over the top to make them look like they got good and brown. And then you see that I made some cookies down there, and all I did was cut out little circles of felt, took the brown markers, and just put chocolate chips on them. Easy peasy. Alright, since we're still on breakfast, let's make some eggs. So I got the white felt, and that's going to be the whites of the eggs, of course. And my husband, this took me a week. I'm serious. I've been doing this all week. I have 2 sets of grandchildren these are going to. One's just a little girl, and the other one is the ones that's always here with me. And I bought them kitchen sets. That's why I did the aprons last Saturday. And then this was seriously not going to be a So It's Saturday video, but it is. It is what it is because they're sewing in it anyway. So anyways, I'm just going to cut these out, and I'm going to cut. Each egg needs 2 whites, okay, per egg. My husband, he was texting and calling, what's for supper, almost every day, because like I said, this took me a week. And I said, I've been making food all day, but it's not for you, baby, because you can't eat it. So he's nice. He took me out to eat a few times, and he's brought stuff home, so thank God for him. But anyways, the life of a crafter, huh? So I'm just going to cut circles out for the yolks, and then I'm going to stitch my yolk, but I'm going to leave a little bit of an opening so I can push some stuffing in there. And all I'm going to do is do a straight stitch around the yolk, nothing fancy. And then I'm just going to show you how I stuff it. And I didn't think about it this whole video, but you probably hear the background noise. And my family's in there watching a movie. But this one I stitched, and I might have stitched the other one, but y'all, that was for the birds trying to go around that little circle. So I just take my fabric glue, and then you'll see me in a minute just gluing these things on, leave an opening, shoving some stuffing in there, and then finish gluing it shut. Now it takes just the smallest amount of stuffing, and I left a little hole big enough to use this pencil eraser. This sticks the stuffing in. All you got to do is push and twist with that eraser and it'll go in. Then just glue your hole shut, and that's how you do your eggs. The ones I done with the stitches, you have to glue the egg to the other egg, okay, if that makes any sense. So I'm just gluing this down and making sure it's stuck, and then I'm going to cut around the egg. So in other words, you could cut these out in 2 pieces and glue it down, or you can just glue it to the felt like I did and cut around it. But I just wanted to cover up the back and make the eggs just a little thicker and more sturdy. Now, if you have eggs, you gotta have bacon. So I just took a piece of felt, cut it curvy, and then I'm just gonna take a brown Sharpie, and I am just gonna start making the meat, per se, of the bacon, and then the other will be the fatty part. So anyways, that's just my reasoning of making it look like bacon. And all of these, I think, if you follow me on Pinterest, you can find these printables in one of my boards that's food. So now we're going to make toast and jelly. And like I said, this is for jelly, jam, whatever. And I just took my bread. There's my husband laughing. Anyways, I just took my bread and stitched around it. And then I'm going to flip it inside out. And like I said, follow my board on Pinterest. That's called Felt Food, I think it is. And that's where these I have pinned. And it will lead you to patterns. Plus, I Googled some and looked at pictures and just made my own patterns. I'll try to have them, like I said, if you want them, I can try to make a printable or whatever. But anyway, once I get this turned inside out, I am just going to glue that opening shut, and then I'm going to take it over to the machine and I'm going to top stitch around the bread. Then it looks like this. It looked like that, and then I'm just going to take brown and go around and make my edges. And then I'm going to drag over the top just a little bit to make it toasted so that it looks like toast. And then I'm going to slap my purple jelly on it, and we have toast and jelly, y'all. Now let's make a few blueberries. These were fun. So I'm using the black dental floss from the Dollar Tree. And you can use black string, whatever. Darker string is better. And it has to be thick. And I'm just going to cut circles out. I cut out squares and then kind of use my thumb to make a circle. And when I get them done, I'm just going to take my thread and I'm going to go in and out doing a running stitch around the top. Now you want to save those little scraggly pieces because you'll use those. And when you're stitching this, you want short stitches. The shorter, the better it will turn out, okay? Now when I get my running stitch done, I pull it just a little bit, but not shut. I'm going to take a little bit of batting and I'm going to roll it up tight. That prevents it from sticking out the hole. Then I'm going to draw that up a little bit, and these little scraps is what I'm telling you you need, and poke them in the best way you can. This thing worked better for me, and I pull tight, and then I poke more until I get it down in there, and then I pull as tight as I can, tie it off, and then you'll see me running back and forth, tightening up those stitches and pulling them together. When I get them together, I'm going to tie it off in a knot, and then I'm going to pull it through the blueberry and cut it off at the bottom. Another way to do them is to use a blue pom-pom. Just shove your pom-pom down in there, pull up around it, and then do the same procedure. Just going back and forth to close up that hole. And then when you get it tight, tie it off, run it through your pom-pom, the whole blueberry. Sorry, I'm dancing. I'm an apostolic swayer by nature. So anyways, run it through your blueberry. And the reason why I run it through and pull it really tight, that's to pull all that in. And then you're done with your blueberries. Now I'm going to make French fries. Look at these. Ain't this cute? This is so cute. Okay. To make the fries, you want to take, what I did is I took fabric tack and I glued 2 pieces of felt together the length that I wanted my fries. Once I got them done, I took my pink and shears, or actually my daughter took my pink and shears, and she cut fries out, cutting strips for the fries and then cutting the tops at an angle. And they came out so stinking cute. I did mine with felt, but it's hard to get your fries in there. So if you do this with paper, all you have to do is cut this out and then glue the sides, and you're done. And I think I just got this pattern by Googling. Now we're going to make this cute little, loaded cheeseburger. You got your lettuce, tomato, onion, cheese, your grilled burger. Look at that. And your buns. Okay. So let me show you how to do this, or how I did this, okay? So we're at the machine, and this is a Teflon foot. This helps the felt slide better. You can also use a walking foot if you have one. The stitch I'm going to use is this. Same one I showed you before. It's just on this machine. But I'm going to use this one because it looks better. So you're just going to stick it under there, and you're going to have to use your needle, move it by hand to figure out where your stitches got to go. And I'm just going to go all the way around this. Now this is the bun, the bottom bun. I'm not going to stuff it because then your burger won't stand up. So that's all I've done to that one. Now the top one, I have a piece of cardboard in there. You do not have to do this, but I put the cardboard in so that when I stuff it, it's not poking out the bottom. It's just coming up the top. And all I'm going to do is stitch around. And then I'm going to leave an opening. I'm going to shove my cardboard in there as far as I can get it. And then start stitching a little bit. But I'm going to leave an opening so that I can stuff it. Okay. Now, the tomato, and I'm using the same color, it's just tan thread. I'm just going to go around the 2 pieces of felt for the tomato. Easy, easy, easy. Then that's done. Now for the onion, I am going to switch to a straight stitch. And I'm going to go to the edge of my foot. My needle's all the way over. And I'm just going to start stitching. Now when I get around to where I started, I'm going to go in some. And then I'm going to keep following my stitches all the way into the middle as far as I can go. And that will be my onion rings. And it looks like that. Now we are going to do our lettuce. And all I'm going to do is do a straight stitch right down the middle. I was wondering when I was going to go. Then I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to go down one side. Then I'm going to stop, pivot, and go up the other side. That's going to be the veins in the lettuce. Okay, so I'm going to do that to both pieces. Make sure you clip all of your threads because you don't want them getting tangled up and looking tacky. When I get my threads clipped, I'm going to fold my lettuce in half. And I'm just going to barely straight stitch down that edge. That is going to create the 3D effect to my lettuce. So I'm going to do that to both pieces of lettuce. And I'll keep this in here and show you again. Middle, down the side, pivot, up the other side. This one actually came out better. Fold it in half, and then straight stitch right down the edge that you made. You'll want to do this as thin as you can so you don't have a big bump. But like I said, this one came out so much better. Back at the table, and I'm just going to clip all my strings that I have. Then I'm going to take a roller. You can use a rubber brayer. See, it works just fine. This tool from the Dollar Tree works just fine as well. There's my 2 pieces of lettuce. Now I've sewn all the way around my burger, and I'm going to flip it inside out. Then I'm going to take my little tool over there, and I'm going to push out all my sides. When I get that done, I am going to take it over to the machine, and I am going to zigzag strips down my, my brown burger. I'm going to glue it. I forgot that I glue my seam. So I glue my seam, then I'm going to take it to the machine, and I'm going to put my grill marks in there. And you'll see that when I get done. But it's just zigzag stitches. And here it is. And y'all, that's one fine looking burger right there. Okay, now my onion. I'm going to clip my strings, and I am going to carefully cut. You don't have to do this. I don't know. I thought it was cute. And I'm just going to cut in between my lines to make my onion, just like I said, to make it cute. I liked it that way. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. Now, for the tomato, I am going to take a lighter color red, fold it in half, and cut little, I just start in and then go out to a point. Just kind of like a heart, but not really. And I'm just going to put 3 of those in there. And it looks like that. And then I am just simply going to take my fabric glue around this, and tack it down. That will be my tomato insides. Now I'm going to take my bun, which my top came out considerably bigger for some reason. And I'm just going to stuff it real good in that hole. And then I'm going to push the cardboard and everything back as far as I can. And then I'm going to go back over to the machine and finish stitching it and close up the gap. Now it's time to assemble the burger. You put your bottom bun on, put your burger. I took a square and just cut around it, made my cheese, my tomato, my onion, my lettuce, and I just took my pinking shears, cut out little circles for pickles, put your top on your on your burger. There you go. This was something else. I was tickled. Okay, so me and my daughter made these chips. Okay, all we done was cut out circles and then put straight lines through them, even as we could. And then I found this image on Google, and I printed it. I sized it, and then I printed it on my sublimation paper. Okay, so I'm going to cut these out, and this is a piece of the Dollar Tree felt, and it's really, really thin, and it works so perfect for this. Y'all, I shocked myself when I did this, okay? So I took it over to my heat press, and I pressed it on to my felt, and you want to cut and leave room around the edge because you're going to be stitching. And you got to have room for your thread. So cut out just a little bit except for the top. You want to cut the top out exactly on your top color there. But everything else cut out from it just a little bit. Then We're going to pin it together, match them up. You can hold it up to the light or put it in a window, and you can see right through this and know that you got it matched up pretty good. Once you have it where you have it matched, just pin it, put a few pins in it, and then I'm going to carry it over to my machine, and I'm going to set my needle where it will go right on the blue right there, and I'm going to sew it. So I sewed it, and it looks like this. I'm going to clip my corners very carefully, not clipping my threads. You don't have to clip anything else. Flip it inside out. Poke your corners out, and you have your chip bag. You can also do this just by printing this out and then gluing the sides of your paper together, and that would work as well. So I'm just going to stick my chips down in my bag. And the good thing with this felt from the Dollar Tree is when you push it, it actually seals it shut pretty good. So that's a win-win. So there is my chips, and I am so tickled with these. They are one of my favorites too. This is my absolute favorite, and that is my little mini tacos. Okay, so I took yellow, and I took the bun thing, okay? And I cut out my circle, and then I mixed that glue, which is non-toxic, with water, sprayed it, hung it over a child's clothes hanger, and made it into a shell. Now I'm just going to take my marker, and I'm going to put little lines on it. You know, because taco shells have those brown streaks or brown lines or whatever. And I'm going to do this to the outside. Don't forget the bottom. And I'm also going to do it to the inside. This came out so stinking cute. I was so excited making this food, y'all. I was like a kid in a toy store, or an elf at Christmas, if you believe in that, making toys for kids. So anyways, I'm going to cut a strip of brown felt, and I cut it too wide. I end up cutting it down, but all you need is a strip. It doesn't really matter, you know, how long, because if you need to add to it, you can. And I'm going to take the black floss. You need black string, dark string, brown string, whatever. You don't want white. And I'm just going to run this, a running stitch, right down the middle of my felt. And this is going to draw it up. And that's what's going to be our taco meat. But like I said, I cut it down on both sides because it was a little taco. And then I had to add another piece to the top. But this is forgiving because you can add to it. You can take away. You know, it's just cute and it works. And when you get it the length and the width that you like and that you want it, just tie off the end. And then there is your taco meat. It goes in the bottom. Okay. Now we are going to do the cheese. All I done was cut strips of kind of an orangey yellow that was in that one of those bundles. And then I'm going to take clear floss. You can use white string, whatever, you know, whatever. And I'm just going to tie in the middle of some, leaving some on each side. This is going to be my bundle of cheese. This is the easiest way to do this so that your kids can keep up with it and not have it all over. I'm sure it's going to be all over anyway. But I make 2 of these little bundles. And then I do the same with the green. Using my pinking shears to make lettuce. And then a strip with my pinking shears to make the sour cream. And there is my little taco. Wow. Don't that look good, y'all? Okay, let me show you how I did this. I took these round circles and these colors of felt, and it took a lot to make these little pizzas, but they're so cute. So I cut the round one, and then I used Mod Podge and a paintbrush and paintbrushed Mod Podge on the bottom. You want to make sure you leave your Mod Podge on the bottom, not the top. This is important, okay? So for the pepperonis, I just cut out red circles. And then I took a brown marker, and the Sharpie worked better, actually. And I just painted or colored over them brown to dull down the red. And then when I got that done, I took the white, I guess they're metallic markers. I don't know. I get them at the Dollar Tree. And I put the spots on it because, pepperonis have like white dots of fat or whatever is in there. So that's what I'm putting on, my fat dots, okay? So I do this to all of them and then take my fingers and kind of blend it in a little bit. Now to do the mushrooms, I just folded over a piece of felt and then I cut out a bubble-like thing and then down. And that's what made my mushrooms. Then when I got my mushrooms, I took my white marker and I put the little things in the corners. And I did that on both sides. And I will tell you, I took all these little pieces outside and sprayed them with my glue and water mixture and made them stiffer. Now I got this strip of green and you're just going to pinch it up. I put my glue down and then I pinch that together. And then I will hold that till it sticks. And then I'll move over, put my glue down, and pinch it. And I'm going to do this 2 to 3 times. And then I'll fold it over. And then glue it to itself. And this is going to be my green peppers. Then when I get it right, I just hold it tight and cut it in half and make smaller ones. There are my little green peppers. Now I'm going to make my olives, and all I done was take a strip of black, cut a circle out, just easy, just using my thumb. Then I'm going to cut a circle out of the middle, and then I will have my black olives right there. So I made a few of those. And like I said, I took all these out and stiffened them up with my glue and water spray. And then I just cut little pink rectangles to be my ham. I use these circles and I just cut the red out a little bit bigger than the cheese template. And then I cut the cheese out. Now everybody asks, why is your cheese white? Or what's that white thing? Mozzarella cheese is white, y'all. So I used white felt, okay? I'm going to go over to the machine. I'm going to stitch around both of these to put them down. When they're stitched, they look like this. And they also look like that on the back. So I'm going to take a piece of, this is muslin, okay? That's the importance of the Mod Podge on the back. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to take my iron. You can see me kind of on the corner. And I am ironing down the muslin to the back where the Mod Podge was. The Mod Podge will heat up and it will cause it to stick and it will glue down. Then all you have to do is cut around it and make it even. Once it is all cut out, you can press it and make it flatter, but you don't have to. Then all you do is add your toppings. But I did forget one thing. You'll see me in a minute using a marker. I'm going to take the marker and I'm going to go around the outside to make the crust look a little, brown and baked. And then, when you cook a pizza, sometimes your mozzarella gets a little brown. So I'm going to put brown streaks on the white. This should have been done before I put any of my toppings on. I just got ahead of myself and forgot. So do as I say, not as I done, even though it did work. But anyways, there you go. Now I need a bag for my cookies. So I'm just going to take this blue. I don't know why. I guess because it reminded me of Cookie Monster. I don't know. But I'm going to take the blue felt and I'm going to fold it up. And I'm just going to make 2 bags. You can make your bags whatever size. I don't have precise measurements. I'm just making bags, y'all. You can kind of see where I'm going here, and maybe that'll give you an idea. I don't know. But anyways, I'm just going to cut out 2 rectangles. I'm going to sew down the sides. The bottom's already folded up, and leave the top open. Sewn, top open, clip strings, flip inside out. or right side out. Not in, it is inside out. You want it you want it the right side. Flip it the right way, people. Okay? Bear with me. It's been a long week, I'm telling you. So the bags were too plain, so I used my silhouette to make these little iron-ons to go on here. Now, if you want to, you could just take a marker and write it on there. It's not even necessary to put it on there. I just wanted it on there. So I'm using my little mini heat press. This is not a Cricut heat press, but it works just as good. I love it, and I love the color. It's linked in my Amazon store. But anyways, I'm just going to press these on, and then after I get it on, I'm just going to give it a quick press all over. And I'm going to do this to both of the little bags. Then all you have to do is just add your cookies. Now I wanted to show you, I think this is the last thing that we made. And I just took green felt and I folded it up and I put a line of glue to glue this down. You don't want to glue all of it, especially the top. Then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut it off to make it even. Then you want to take small scissors, if you have them, and put small slits in the top, like small fringes, okay? But you don't want them long or you'll have asparagus, trust me. So you want to, after you do that, you're going to start rolling, okay? And you're going to roll, and then you're going to add your glue. Hold it till it sticks. Roll, add glue till you get this as big as you want it. Then when you get it as big as you want it, you're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut it off. And then you're going to glue all pieces together to make sure you have it. And then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut off the bottom because I thought it was a little bit too tall. And that is how we are going to make our broccolis. There they are. And here is everything all finished. And how stinking cute are these things? I cannot believe this took me all week. But I am so impressed with what I done. I mean, I have to say, I'm not bragging, but this is so cool. And if you like this, please leave me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel and ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, remember, you are a blessing. Goodbye.